Yeah, my people, ja people, blessed love, good morning. Jamaica morning to the eye them. Well, the eye them don't know this is Daniel Marshall from the infrastructure work, and I'm here to bring to the eyes them.
Breaking news, Ibrahim Traore's personal request to Putin to do this with West.
Burkina Faso made a request to Russia, but will Russia accept it? As Burkina Faso and Russia grew closer, the West became paranoid, expecting something they wouldn't like will happen. And it seems they were right. Burkina Faso has made a demand that will shake the core of Western hegemony. But will its demand be accepted? Let's find out. The world isn't ready for what's coming out of Africa. For too long, the West has treated this continent as an afterthought, a collection of countries to be exploited for resources, labor, and influence. But now, Africa is flipping the script, and Burkina Faso is at the forefront of that change. This isn't about a small country in West Africa trying to find its place on the global stage. This is about Africa rewriting the rules of the global game. Ibrahim Traore, the president of Burkina Faso, is a man who sees the bigger picture. And the world, particularly the West, is terrified of what that means. Traore has set his sights on joining BRICS, the bloc that's challenging Western dominance in global affairs. And if Burkina Faso succeeds, it will mark a turning point not just for his country, but for Africa as a whole. The West doesn't know it yet, but their time at the top is running out, and Africa is ready to take its place. Burkina Faso has made this request to Russia. But before anything, we must ask, what will this alliance mean?
People of Burkina Faso has decided to affirm and embrace its sovereignty, putting an end to its subjugation. It has demonstrated extraordinary resilience, just as all the people of the Sahel have done.
People tend to talk about BRICS in economic terms. After all, it's a bloc that brings together 5 of the world's largest emerging economies. Together, they represent a huge chunk of the world's GDP, population, and global influence. But BRICS is much more than an economic club. It's a direct challenge to Western hegemony, a way for countries outside the traditional power centers to reshape global geopolitics. Traore understands this. He knows that Burkina Faso's entry into BRICS isn't just about gaining access to trade opportunities or financial aid. It's about positioning his country as a key player in the new world order. Joining BRICS would allow Burkina Faso to diversify its economic partnerships, reduce its dependence on Western powers, and establish new relationships that are based on mutual respect and cooperation, not exploitation. Here's what most people miss. BRICS is more than a collection of countries. It's an idea. It represents a future where global power is not concentrated in the hands of a few Western nations, but is distributed more evenly across the world. For Burkina Faso, joining BRICS is a statement of intent. It says, we are no longer going to be defined by the limitations others have imposed on us. And when experts talk about BRICS, they don't mince words. They say the West is terrified of BRICS. Why is that? And is this the reason why Burkina Faso is joining BRICS? Scared, because it represents everything they've fought to prevent for centuries, a shift in global power away from Western control. For centuries, Western nations have used institutions like the International Monetary Fund (IMF) and the World Bank to maintain their grip on global economics. They've used debt, trade agreements, and political influence to keep African nations dependent and underdeveloped. But BRICS changes that. The West's system relies on keeping Africa in a cycle of dependency, through loans, aid, and exploitation. BRICS offers an alternative. It provides African nations with the opportunity to break free from the financial shackles of Western powers and forge new alliances that are not based on the colonial mindset. Burkina Faso's move toward BRICS is a direct threat to this system. The West knows that if more African nations join BRICS, their control over the continent will weaken. That's why they've been working behind the scenes to undermine any nation that dares to step out of line. But Traore isn't playing their game. He's creating his own rules. We know Traore has asked Russia to help it join BRICS. And this takes us back to the times when Russia and Burkina Faso's ties were established. Is this the very day Burkina Faso was waiting for? Here's a reminder to please like and share the video and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos on Black culture, history, civilization, and identity. Let's continue now. When Ibrahim Traoré asked Russia to establish direct flights between Ouagadougou and Moscow, most people missed the significance. This wasn't just about facilitating travel between the two countries. This was about creating a strategic bridge, an economic and diplomatic lifeline that bypasses the Western-dominated routes of trade and influence. Direct flights between Russia and Burkina Faso signal a deepening of ties between the two nations, and this is precisely what the West fears. Russia has been actively engaging with African nations in recent years, offering them an alternative to the exploitative deals they've been forced to accept from the West. Traoré knows that aligning Burkina Faso more closely with Russia will open doors to new opportunities in trade, agriculture, technology, and defense. You have to ask yourself, why does the West always panic when an African country seeks new partnerships? The answer is simple: because it disrupts their system of control. Direct flights between Moscow and Ouagadougou are not just logistical. They represent a direct challenge to the West's grip on Africa. And the West saw Africa as having deeper ties with non-Western nations. And their prediction was right. Traoré didn't stop with asking for flights. He's aiming for something much bigger: full membership in BRICS. This is where the game changes entirely. If Burkina Faso joins BRICS, it won't just be a win for Traoré and his government. It will be a win for Africa as a whole. But is there any guarantee that joining BRICS will be beneficial? Look at what just happened with Algeria. They recently became an official member of the BRICS Development Bank, a move that has massive implications for Africa. The BRICS Development Bank isn't just another financial institution. It's a weapon in the hands of developing nations. It provides funding for infrastructure projects, sustainable development, and long-term economic growth, without the strings attached that come with loans from the IMF or World Bank. Algeria's entry into the BRICS Development Bank is a clear signal that BRICS is expanding its influence in Africa, and Burkina Faso is perfectly positioned to follow. The West might still cling to its outdated notions of dominance, but Traoré understands that BRICS offers a way out, a way for Burkina Faso to finance its development, on its terms. The beauty of BRICS is that it's not just for the big players like China or Russia. It's a platform for emerging markets and developing nations to finally have a say in how the global economy is structured. If Burkina Faso joins BRICS, it would be a major step forward not just for the country, but for the entire African continent. Apart from this, we know that from October 8th to 11th, 2024, Burkina Faso is hosting its economic days abroad in Moscow. If you think this is just another diplomatic event, you're missing the point. This forum represents a tectonic shift in Burkina Faso's economic strategy. By choosing Moscow as the venue, Traoré is sending a clear message. Burkina Faso is looking east, not west. This forum is designed to showcase Burkina Faso's economic potential to Russian investors. But more than that, it's a demonstration that Burkina Faso is ready to deepen its ties with Russia and, by extension, BRICS. This isn't just about attracting investment. It's about creating long-term partnerships that can help Burkina Faso break free from the economic domination of the West. What's particularly significant is that this event will also address key initiatives like air transport and BRICS membership. Traoré isn't just talking about change, he's making it happen. By fostering these relationships with Russia and the broader BRICS alliance, he's positioning Burkina Faso to become a major player in the global south. Now let's zoom out for a moment and look at the bigger picture. Why does BRICS matter so much for Africa? The answer is simple. BRICS represents an alternative. For too long, African nations have been forced to play by the rules set by Western powers. But those rules were never designed to benefit Africa. They were designed to keep Africa dependent and underdeveloped. BRICS changes that. It offers African nations a way to develop their economies, build their infrastructure, and trade on equal terms with other countries. It's a platform that allows Africa to rise without being weighed down by the baggage of colonialism and exploitation. For Burkina Faso, joining BRICS would mean gaining access to a vast network of resources, technologies, and markets that can help the country thrive. And let's not forget the geopolitical implications. BRICS isn't just an economic alliance, It's a counterbalance to Western dominance. As more African nations join BRICS, the West's ability to dictate terms to Africa will weaken. This is why Burkina Faso's potential membership in BRICS is so significant. It's not just about Burkina Faso, it's about Africa reclaiming its power. Now, we are not here to pretend that this is going to be easy. Burkina Faso faces enormous challenges. The country still needs to improve its infrastructure, strengthen its energy capacity, and stabilize its political environment. But here's the thing. BRICS can help with all of that. By aligning itself with BRICS, Burkina Faso will gain access to the resources it needs to overcome these challenges. Russia, for example, has already expressed interest in building a civil nuclear power plant in Burkina Faso. This could be a game changer for the country's energy capacity. With Russia's help, Burkina Faso could dramatically increase its energy production, which would in turn fuel its economic growth. And it doesn't stop at energy. BRICS membership opens doors to a world of opportunities. China could bring its expertise in infrastructure, helping Burkina Faso modernize its roads, railways, and airports. India, known for its advancements in technology and medicine, could contribute to developing Burkina Faso's health and technology sectors. Brazil, a leader in agriculture, could share its techniques to improve food security in a country that still struggles with access to quality agriculture. South Africa, with its proximity and shared African identity, can play a vital role in deepening cooperation on the continent. But here's the real kicker. BRICS is about breaking free from the old system. A system where African countries had to wait for scraps from Western tables. A system where aid came with conditions that only served to keep Africa under control. Burkina Faso is not waiting anymore. By entering BRICS, it will have the power to set its terms, to negotiate on an equal footing with the world's most powerful emerging economies. Traoré's vision for Burkina Faso isn't just about development, it's about sovereignty. It's about taking back control of the country's resources, its politics, and its future from the grip of foreign influence. BRICS, in this sense, represents freedom. Freedom from the exploitative trade agreements that have kept Africa impoverished for so long. Freedom from the endless cycle of debt that Western financial institutions like the IMF and World Bank have imposed on African countries. Now the question is, what's West's response to this? Let's not kid ourselves. The West sees what's coming. They understand the threat that BRICS poses to their global dominance, and they won't take this lying down. For centuries, the West has maintained its stranglehold on Africa through economic manipulation, political interference, and outright military interventions. We've seen what happens to African leaders who dare to defy Western powers. From the assassination of Patrice Lumumba in the Congo to the removal of Muammar Gaddafi in Libya, history is littered with examples of the West's ruthless approach to African independence. But this time, it's different. Traoré is not alone. He's part of a growing movement across Africa, where leaders are waking up to the fact that their futures lie with the global South, not the West. The rise of BRICS represents a shift in the global power structure, one that puts Africa at the center of the action, not on the periphery. The West's problem is that they can't stop this. They've already lost the ideological war. No one believes their promises of aid anymore, and their so-called development programs have only served to keep Africa poor. What Traoré is doing in Burkina Faso, what BRICS is doing globally, is creating a new narrative. A narrative where Africa is a key player, not a passive recipient. The world needs to understand the symbolism of what's happening here. Burkina Faso's bid to join BRICS is not just about economic cooperation, it's a global shift. For centuries, Africa has been viewed as a continent in need, a continent waiting for the West to save it. But now Africa is asserting itself in a way that demands attention. This is about dignity. This is about rewriting the narrative of what Africa is and what it can be. Think about it. A small West African nation, historically ignored by global powers, is now standing on the threshold of joining the most significant economic bloc outside the Western world. This is not just a diplomatic maneuver. It's a statement of intent. Africa will no longer be dictated to. Africa will be the one setting the terms. And Burkina Faso is leading the charge. One of the most overlooked benefits of BRICS is the potential for African integration. While the African Union has made strides in creating a unified African economy, The truth is that many African nations still trade more with the West than with each other. BRICS changes that. By joining BRICS, Burkina Faso would be part of an economic network that includes South Africa, one of the most developed nations on the continent. This could pave the way for more intra-African trade, which would boost the economies of African nations collectively, not just individually. In addition, BRICS has already begun discussing the idea of creating a new global currency that could reduce reliance on the US dollar. For African countries like Burkina Faso, this is crucial. Right now, the global financial system is rigged in favor of Western currencies like the dollar and the euro. BRICS offers a way out of that system. If Africa can trade using its currency or a BRICS-backed currency, it will no longer be vulnerable to the fluctuations and manipulations of Western markets. So, what would the future hold for Burkina Faso if it joins BRICS? Make no mistake, if Burkina Faso succeeds in joining BRICS, it will be a game changer for the entire continent. This is about more than just Burkina Faso. It's about the future of Africa. By aligning with BRICS, African nations can finally start building an economic and political future that isn't tied to the whims of Western powers. Traoré's vision is clear. He's not just thinking about the short term. He's thinking about Burkina Faso's place in the world 20, 30, 50 years from now. And that future lies with BRICS, with the global South, with nations that understand that Africa is not a charity case. It's a powerhouse in its own right. For too long, Africa has been held back by a global system designed to keep it underdeveloped. But those days are coming to an end. With leaders like Traoré, Africa is taking its future into its own hands. And the West is powerless to stop it. Here's something else you need to realize. The entire global South is watching. Countries across Latin America, Asia, and the Middle East are paying attention to what Burkina Faso is doing. They're seeing that there is a way to break free from Western dominance. They're seeing that there is an alternative to the old system. And that's why Burkina Faso's bid to join BRICS is so important. This isn't just about one country, it's about a global movement. A movement where nations that have been exploited and marginalized for centuries are finally standing up and saying, no more. The global South is rising, and Africa is leading the way. Do you think Burkina Faso can pull this off? Can a small West African nation join BRICS and take on the world's most powerful economic forces? Let us know in the comment section. Where do you see Burkina Faso if it joins BRICS? Do you want to watch more videos like this one? If so, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon next to it. We have decided to bring videos on something nobody talks about: the Black culture, civilization, history, and evidence about how glorious Blacks have been. Thanks for watching, and until the next video.
Wow, yeah, my people, I don't know about you, but that was breathtaking. That was very, very refreshing, and my whole body feel excited about it. See, so let's jump in a little bit more about Ibrahim Traoré before I show you about the development that's going on in my area, right? Blessed love.
In a shocking political twist, Burkina Faso's President Ibrahim Traoré has rejected an official invitation from US President Donald Trump to visit the White House. The move has sent shockwaves across the world, fueling speculation about rising tensions between the two leaders. Reports indicate that Trump personally invited Traoré for high-level discussions on security, trade, and Africa-US relations. However, Traoré outright refused, stating, "Africa does not need to beg for partnerships. We will work with those who respect our sovereignty, not those who seek to control us." Why did Traoré say no? Standing against Western influence. Traoré believes the US has historically exploited Africa and refuses to be part of any neo-colonial agenda, demanding respect for Africa. He insists that African leaders should be treated as equals, not subordinates in global politics. How did Trump react? Sources say Trump was furious, viewing Traoré's rejection as a major insult to US authority. Some reports even suggest that the White House may consider sanctions or diplomatic retaliation against Burkina Faso. World reactions to Traoré's bold stand Africans are celebrating. Social media has exploded with Yassir Traoré the Fearless, praising him as the only African leader brave enough to defy the US. Washington is in shock. Some American politicians are calling this a diplomatic crisis, fearing the US is losing its grip on African affairs. Russia and China applaud the move. Moscow and Beijing see this as a clear sign that Africa is breaking free from Western control and are eager to strengthen ties with Traoré. What's next? With Trump and Traoré now in direct conflict, global leaders are watching closely to see if the US will strike back diplomatically or economically. Meanwhile, Traoré has made it clear: Africa will no longer bow to Western pressure. One thing is certain: Ibrahim Traoré is rewriting history, and the world is watching. Stay tuned as we bring you more updates on this diplomatic showdown.
Wow, yeah, my people, remember at the beginning of the year, I tell you that this year, 2025, was going to be a really great year. See, and it already started to show its capability on a real base. My whole body feel excited about the move, what's going on, seeing, and I'm excited to bring it to the item, seeing. So, do your part, share, subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell so you can get the latest update, because we're not gonna stay just doing one thing, seeing. Now, without further delay, let's jump in. Daniel Marshall on the infrastructure work, showing you the development that is happening here in Jamaica and here in my neck of the wood. If you have a spot in Jamaica that you want me to go visit and do some work on, videotaping and showing you the development, what's going on there, I can do so and I can talk about it, yeah, on a real base. Drop me a comment in the comment section, link me up, my number is 883-3589, saying, and send down a donation for travel. Bless up. Okay, yeah, my people, blessed love. So, in the center of your screen, you can see where I'm inserting another video, and this is a Rubis gas station, our one and only Rubis gas station, our one and only gas station here on Galileezil Road, aka Manninzil Road. Saying the other one is down by Constant Spring at Richie B gas station, and this is the other one that is now under redevelopment construction. Saying, and me love the look. Modernizing it right now. They change out all the old gas tank that was down there in the earth and putting in some new ones, and the whole thing is getting resurfaced and re-up, saying. So please do enjoy the video. Thanks for watching. Drop your comment in the comment section. Make sure share, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you get the latest update when we drop them out. Saying the best is still yet to come, my people. Stay there, hang in the balance. Stay well, be safe, and I will see the item in the next video. Saying, and big up to Ibrahim Traoré on a real base. Much love, my brother. Yeah, man, I'm excited to come there where you are, bro. Not in line. Can you imagine how many more Rasta people out here who want to join with you? Yeah, because I got to take a strong move. It's not an easy thing to defy the US, a powerful world trampler, world dominated power with a huge army. So it's gonna take a lot. So big up Ibrahim Traoré. Big up Mr. Putin too. Yeah, man, big up the BRICS also. Big up the African Union. Yeah, big up China, Japan, these places. Yeah, man, so bless upon the eye themselves. I hope the eye them been enjoying the videos. Alright, and make sure to subscribe, share, and like. Peace. Thanks for watching.